Everyone, and welcome back to my RP-1 Rusty career playthrough. Let's do an EVA. So, when we left off in our last episode, did some design work, set up some interplanetary things. How long? 31 days until we can do that. Did Ernest Banks retire? Oh no, Ernest Banks is on leave. That's right. Oh right, because yeah, skill level. Everybody else still has. I mean, we could train her for another mission, but that's fine. So 154 days Mercury. All right, I guess we're going to make a Mercury probe before we send somebody to orbit. All right. So actually, before we do this, I'm going to take the Mercury contract so we get lots of money. Mercury flyby. Okay. Let's do this again. All right. Now, intriguing. What can this control? 3.3 tons for 512 kilograms, and this thing is 0.65 tons for 100 kilograms. So I feel like to get the delta V we need. That's 100 kilograms. How heavy is Mercury? Okay, this is lighter. I think we're probably going to want to throw this instead of something heavier. Let's look at what science instruments do we have. The only relevant there will only be two biosamples, Mercury high and Mercury low. Now we need a dish, which is going to be That's only 10 kilograms more. I guess we might as well use the standard dish. Two of those. We'll put the usual RCS on. We now actually have larger quads, which is nice. So, learning from our mistake from last time. Hydrazine. Sadly, we still only have Tech 1 hydrazine. It's becoming vaguely tempting to get KVB, but no. Hey, Blowfish. Yeah, they are. It's true. All right, so comms on 2. Oops, I didn't actually do anything. Comms on 2. We almost have decent solars, but not yet. I'm going to be so happy when we actually have the tracking panels. So happy. Okay. It's looking decent. Now, solar's on 1. Science. A barometer. We're going to prove that Mercury doesn't have an atmosphere. Ooh, that's interesting. We don't have it yet. More science. More science. And we finally get radar mapping, although there's no way I'll be orbiting Mercury. Just no way. Not gonna happen. $1.3 kilograms. That's 3 kilograms. That's 5 kilograms. There's no good way to distribute these, is there? So first we're going to put a television camera up top. Snap it. Okay. Now we're going to put this on top. Center it. Center that. Science on 3. Okay. Specimen SIF, you might think that, but if you look at this RCS, they're not attached to the dish. They're attached to this and offset upwards. So, micrometeorite and orbital perturbation. Those are approximately centered. And we're going to put orbital perturbation on 4. What haven't we done? Infrared radiometer, I haven't done yet. So, and Geiger-Muller tube, we haven't done yet. And that's the rest of the experiments, I believe. Okay. Now, ordinarily we'd have them distributed nicely, but this is to keep them centered for thrust purposes. We are now already at 244 kilograms, so we're not going to have much for course correction. Put a couple attitude jets on. And then SM2. What size is tooled for SM2? Let's find out. 0.7 by 0.4. All right. Tooled. Excellent. All right, what's our limit on this thing? 3.2. So we're just a little bit shy. $329. So I'll just reduce utilization a little bit. And we'll put these down here, I guess. All right, and that will give us an appreciable amount of delta V. Let's cut down the EC in here. How much cheaper will that make it? Not appreciably cheaper. So we might as well. It did make it quite a bit lighter. So there's that. Hey, where did it? Oh, wrong thing. This thing. And then just over. All right, so we'll lower the utilization again just a little bit. All right. All right, this is basically still an aphid. So we're going to call it aphid 5. It's just a revision of the existing aphid bus. Oh, I bet you guys aren't on hydrazine. Oh no, I did actually configure. Good. All right, and what kind of delta V can we look at? We're at 319, 229. If anybody wants to run those numbers, I would appreciate it. But I feel like that's probably about 500 meters per second. Maybe only 400. No, it is about 500. I know that for a fact. Now, let's put this on our Hydrolux launch vehicle and see what happens. Yeah, we don't have enough delta V. So we're gonna, first of all, we want the bigger one, which was this thing I was uprating, which I didn't save there. I saved here, and we're gonna have to tool some things. Where are we? Doberman BH. It was not ever actually used. KVB was not actually ever used on anything. They hit some problems they couldn't solve, if memory serves. All right. That is appreciably more delta V, but still probably not enough. 5.3 km sec, and we're probably going to use 9400. Yeah, so we need another 600 meters per second of delta V. So let's go about getting ourselves 600 meters per second of delta V. So we want a decoupler. That one is tooled. Let's move it down so that it's not clipping into the jets. And what tank 3 sizes do we have tooled? 0.609 by 0.403. All right. 3 HP, and let's put an AJ10 on it. "11 seconds of burn time. Not the best. What else do we have tooled? 0.609 by 0.93. All right. That's 1.6 kmsec. All right, let's see how that works. That's looking better. That should give us the delta V we need. But I'm still going to stretch this a little bit more. That's looking better. Oops, too tall. Shoot. Wrong thing. Why do I keep doing that? That's better. All right, so this now needs to come down to 4. All right. So this is quite a cheap kick stage. I could use a solid kick motor, but the problem is that I need rather more than 600 meters per second, because I need 600 meters per second total. If I put 600 meters per second down here as a kick motor, this will decrease by like 200 meters per second. So I actually need like 800. I don't suppose I have the Altair 2. No. So traditionally we'd use... Man, that's dirt cheap. I mean, I could use a bunch of Altairs, but the performance will be much worse. So this is 600 kilos, so that's the equivalent of 3 Altairs, and there's no way I'm getting 2 kmsec out of 3 Altairs. Next node, Blowfish, I think. Well, the Altair 2 next node. I'm behind on solids compared to liquids. Let's just have a look at the Altair version, because I don't feel it's terribly historical to use that as a kick motor. Oh, that's the big one. That's the small one. Man, I wish BDB solids were... Well, actually, the new ones maybe. going to say I wish BDB solid were configured, but the new ones may be. Oh, okay. So 100 kilograms more, but we got quite a bit more delta V. So it's actually fairly competitive. So we'll do that. The other alternative being just 2 stacked, which is probably a better deal. But let's see what we get out of this. So it's 5.3 km/sec. So that's 10,700. Yeah, let's see how we do. Oh, shoot. There we go. Let's see how we do with just one, actually. It's a km/sec. It's probably enough. Yes, yes, it is enough. Excellent. All right, now the question is, should we use smaller fairings than this? The answer is no. I don't think it'll save us much, and we'd have to tool them anyway. Whoa, that's super weird. Oh, because the shape is locked. That's why I did that. That was so weird. All right, so that's in the right stage. So now let's go ahead and tool this monstrosity. I was going to say, interestingly, it's not much cheaper than a Saturn 1, but it's because it has untooled parts. Dirt cheap. That's a bigger ticket item, but that's okay. All right, so 3/4 of a Saturn 1, and we're probably tossing 3/4 of a Saturn 1's payload, actually. So this is not unreasonable, but boy, look at that launch cost. So that's going to be a stretch to have it ready by the time of the Mercury mission. So we're going to have to rush it a bit. And boy, we better not have any failures, and we can't really afford to build a backup either. So, boy, I hope we don't have a failure then. But yeah, I don't really see much of an alternative. In particular, we're going to have to be careful about the node execution, because we'll need to abort the node execution when we have about that much left to execute, because otherwise we'll overburn by about 500 meters per second. But okay. Okay, it's just legitimately an expensive launch vehicle. I blame this. I blame the Hydrolox. S4 is not that weak. S4 is not super weak. So first of all, S4 has a better structural coefficient than S4B does. Like, I have a soft spot for S4. It's a pretty decent stage. Um, oh, right, because almost $5 million of this is prep. So yeah, it's half of Saturn 1's cost as I made a proc Saturn 1 for 2/3 of its mass? A little over half its mass? Something like that? I don't know. Blowfish, even the regular, it's because S4 was common bulkhead, I think, and S4B was not. All right. No, S4B was not common bulkhead. I don't think. S2 was common bulkhead. That's why it was so hard to make. Was it really common bulkhead? I could have sworn it was not common bulkhead. Yeah, sure enough. I'm misremembering that. That's weird. Could have sworn it was not. Yeah, you're not wrong. Man, I wonder why it ended up so much poorer ratio than S4. Because I don't think it was just the extra helium pressurant. It wasn't. I don't know. Anyway, this thing is basically. Oh, is there a little gap there that's going to annoy me? No, there isn't. Good. Right, so we're going to build this, and we're going to have to rush it a little bit. And I guess if we're really desperate, if we really want to, have a backup, we could just totally rush build the other one. But that would be expensive. That's $75 million to have a backup. Well, plus the $64 million to launch it. Yeah, but S4 had the Saturn 1 IU, didn't it? That wasn't much lighter. Where was... I mean, it had some sort of IU, right? All right. So we're going to build one of these. Oh, except the staging is screwed. I just noticed. Yeah, I thought I read somewhere that the original Saturn 1 IU was still about 2 tons, but it may be that that's not counted towards the mass of the S4 in a way that it is towards the mass of the S5. It's S5, S4P. There isn't an S5. Well, I mean, there is. We discussed it at Centaur. Let me fix the staging on this. Sorry, Piano Josh, what do you mean by study? Oh, the staging's magically fixed. Look at that. All, all in terms of the data side, all we have is we have data on launch costs for launch vehicles. Oh, I see. I have no idea of the breakdown of that. At best, I've been able to find there are some. At best, I've been able to find in some cases both a flyaway cost and a launch cost. Most of the time, you either get just the flyaway cost or just the launch cost. So, all right. So we're definitely going to have to rush build this. And the question is whether we want to have a backup. And I don't know. Yeah, I do not know. Um, I do not know the answer to that question. I would love to know the answer to that question. I've yet to find sufficient data to know the answer to that question. But anyway, I should go eat supper. So, well, I said let's do an EVA. Turns out we were actually doing yet another build episode. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.